Hi there, good morning. This is Chartbusters, a show where we highlight all the buzzing stocks, get you expert advice on how to trade and capitalize on those. I'm Mangla Malu. With me is Nigel D'Souza. For the markets, well, we briefly flirted with that 11,000 mark, but the mid-cap underperformance continues and the market has given up from those 11,000 levels. If you take a look at the mid-cap index, currently at the low point of the day with a cut in excess of 170 points, and that's on the back of all the Reliance Group stocks. Take a look at maybe Reliance Infra, Reliance Power, all those stocks down again by about in excess of around 20-25% as we speak. Reliance Infra down 25%, Reliance Power down another 12%. Not looking good for beleaguered stocks. Mid-cap index not doing too well.
That's right, Manglam. You know, we should keep an eye out on all these group stocks. This is Reliance Infra, Reliance Communications, but also they've got a big debt. That's something that we've been highlighting, right? I'd be worried about the bankers. What happens after that now? If all these, group stocks are going to be in trouble, then the bankers definitely have a cause of worry. So keep an eye out on the Nifty Bank. Today, it's currently up close to around 30 points odd. But at some point of time, the street is going to wake up and say, hey, this group is in trouble. But what about all the money that they have, taken from banks? Stock falling 25%, falling nearly around 45 to 50% in a single week. All that money that's already been lent out to them. That's going to be a big cause of concern, so we'll have to keep an eye out on a few of those lenders as well.
Absolutely, we'll do that. But first up, what we do is take a look at all the top stories that we're tracking this morning and then get cracking on individual corporate stories. Tech Mahindra, top gainer on the Nifty on the back of another all-round beat of revenue, profits as well as margins. Management says they're confident to beat the NASSCOM guidance of 7 to 8% growth this year.
And HPCL's core refining earnings come in better than estimates. However, there is a slight miss on the marketing margins. The management says they should be able to maintain gross refining margins above the $5 per barrel mark.
Jubilant Foodworks off highs as promoters make a U-turn on royalty payment by Jubilant Food and Jubilant Life within hours of announcing that the companies will pay a 0.25% of their consolidated revenues every year for using the brand Jubilant. The street worries on overhang.
And Tata Chemical shares the slump post to weak Q3 numbers, weakness seen across all segments. The profit after tax slips 23%, the margins under pressure due to higher cost.
IDFC First Bank under pressure, cross NPA balloons post Capital First merger, operating profit too declines in the third quarter. Balforge on the other hand recovers but continues to be in the red as North America truck orders disappoint for the third month. Orders fall 68% year on year.
Well, we went for a very brief moment above that 11,000 odd mark. A few of those stocks are gaining. I think Z has moved to the high point of the day now. Let's pull up the intraday chart. Volumes have really spiked up there. And that stock was up nearly around 6 to around 7%. Now it's up nearly around 7% odd. Remember, in a single trading session, it had fallen close to around 30%. But from there, the stock has moved from around 290 to around 390 odd. So keep an eye out on that stock. But how do you trade the Nifty from here? We have Ashwini Gujral who joins in. Hi Ashwini. Well, we went to around that 11,000 odd mark. It didn't look like the real thing. We have come off the top. The mid-cap index continues to be under some pressure. What would the trade be?
See, it's clear that the market is failing at higher levels. At 10:30, you have 450 advances and 1120 declines. So that, 6-7 stock game probably is coming to an end because it's clear that 11,000 cannot be taken very easily. That way, this is a good time to get short on Nifty as well as Bank Nifty because chances are a lot of people are still long above 11,000, and as the market fails, they will all have to cut their positions. So I am more optimistic on the downside. Having said that, Adani Port is a sell with a stop of 340, target of 315. Tata Chemical is a sell with a stop of 612, target of 590. And Infosys is a buy with a stop of 760, target of 774.
Right, Ashwini, take your comments on individual stocks. Just a word on Yes Bank, because the stock is currently at the low point of the day. Just a few weeks ago, when the stock was around that 180 level, we got the announcement of the new CEO coming in, Ravneet Gill. The stock surged from 180 to around 220 plus, and now back much below those levels. It's at 173. Currently at the low point of the day. Do you think lower levels are warranted on Yes Bank, or maybe it's at important support zones?
I think whatever was wrong with the Yes Bank is out in the open. But what you want to do is, if you are not a buyer right now, you want to wait for 240 to get crossed on some sort of good news, and then the market finally will bottom out here. This is, an accumulation phase. No good news, stock keeps falling. The big guns are accumulating it. If you are a big gun and you can wait for that long, go ahead and accumulate. If you want a momentum buy, then we need to get past this 240, 250 zone.
All right, Ashwini, disclosures?
We have some put positions on Nifty and expect downside to resume.
All right. Thanks a lot for stopping by and giving us your view on the markets as well as individual stocks. Let's get cracking on a corporate that's waiting by. Bombay Dyeing. The stock's under pressure in trade on the back of a weak set of third quarter numbers. The third quarter revenue is down 33% year on year. Sharp decline seen in margins as well. But that's as far as today is concerned. If you take a look at a longer chart of Bombay Dyeing, maybe last 6 months or so, from September levels of close to 270, the stock had seen a one-way decline, now at around 103. So last 6 months, the stock is down around 63%. Over and above that, weak quarterly performance. We have Mr. Ramesh Ranganathan, the CEO of the company, joining us on the show. Mr. Ranganathan, what exactly is happening, especially with your real estate business not doing too well?
Good morning, Mangalam. Well, actually, that's not necessarily the case, primarily because this is on account of the change in accounting standards. Basically, we have moved over from percentage of completion method to project completion method. And by means of that, we've actually had to reverse our earnings at the beginning of this financial year. And as it is primarily on account of completion contract method, we will be recognizing that income and the profits by end of this year, as we are expecting the completion of our premium project in Dada, which is the Island City Centre 1 and 2. These are 260-story buildings which are nearing completion, and the moment we have the occupancy in place, we will be in a position to recognize the income and the profit. So we probably, as I see it, will have one of the best years for us at Bombay Dyeing, and it's just a matter of time. And primarily because those milestones have not been achieved in the third quarter, that's the reason why you actually see the results the way they are.
Okay, Mr. Ranganathan, we'll take that point. Then you're saying that, the quarterly numbers are not looking good because of change of accounting. We take that point. You told us about the other couple of stories, so the residential projects, that's ICC, Island City 1 as well as 2. Tell us, has there been a pre-launch? How much of it has been sold? What kind of realizations are you estimating out there?
So this project was launched 4 years ago, and these are 260-story structures which we are going to be completing in a record time of 4 years. And that's going to be one of the key highlights of our capability to execute project on time, which is something that we are very, very proud about. These are 2 premium towers that we are actually developing, and our whole idea is to set a benchmark in the real estate space in terms of the kind of product that we develop. Further to that, considering that we are well positioned with 2 very large properties in the center of the city, we have an accumulated FSI of close to 8 million square feet. The whole idea for us as Bombay Dyeing is to unlock this value to the best interest of the shareholders. And this unlocking will not be purely with one asset class, but primarily doing a mixed use development for us, which would comprise of residential, commercial, retail, F&B, entertainment, school. So we want to create an environment which can enable people who are living in this complexes to walk to work, to walk to their shopping, or to walk to their schools. Primarily trying to give back time, which
Mr.
today in a city
Ranganathan,
like Mumbai is a luxury for many people.
We get that point, sir.
Yeah.
These 2 towers, you said, what's it? It's 8 million square feet is what you can sell from here?
No, the total development potential what we have is 8 million. These 2 towers put together are close to 11 million, 1.1 million square feet.
1.1 million, all right. And
which we will be delivering in, as I mentioned, in 4 years.
What about the average realization for this particular, this project?
So it's been in the region of 45,000 rupees a square feet on carpet, what we've been realizing. And we've been doing pretty well in this particular micro market.
How much have you sold so far?
Well, almost 65 to 67% of the inventory has been sold.
Okay.
And we would like to actually wait to ensure that the balance inventory is sold upon completion of the project to realize better realizations from the sale of the balance inventory.
So you're saying roughly 320 plus crores worth inventory is sold? Just back of the envelope calculations?
Sorry? As I said, it's 1.1 million square feet, out of which 65% to 67% of the inventory has been sold.
That's 650,000 square feet, which has been sold at a realization of around 45,000 per square feet. All right, we'll do the back calculations on that one. You have been pairing some non-core assets. You have some stake in group companies, BBTC, National Peroxide. Any plans to monetize that?
Well, at the moment, I think my focus primarily is to unlock the value of these two prime assets that are there in Bombay Dyeing. And primarily, it's the asset unlocking story for us as we have these two prime land banks. And that's what we're primarily focusing on at this moment.
All right, just doing the back of the envelope calculations, Ranganathan, you're saying 1.1 million square feet, looking to sell it around 45,000 crores, 45,000 rupees. Beg your pardon. You have already sold 65–70% of that. So around 3,000 crores worth of sales has already been done, right?
That's correct.
And what about the money required to complete the project, the current debt in your books, if you could give us a sense on those lines as well?
So the cash flows that are likely to come out of this would primarily help us in retiring the debt. And so we would land up seeing a much more healthier position in the coming year with the completion of this project.
What's the debt like?
Realization of the revenues that come from the sale that we have done. We are around 3,500 crores, which will be coming down substantially over the next few quarters.
You know, if you could give us a broad estimate, everyone talks about Bombay Dyeing and what a big land bank they have. You would be the best analyst, right, of your own company. According to you, what is the total land bank worth of the company? Because otherwise, you know, everyone's shooting in the air, everyone's giving their own numbers. A rough estimate, or you could give us an acreage, we could derive some part of those numbers.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I was mentioning in terms of FSI, we have close to 8 million square feet of FSI available for development. And these are available based on the current development regulations. What we intend doing with that is to unlock it in a strategic manner where we are getting off with certain elements of the asset class as part of the integrated development that we are doing. And as part of that, we are planning to launch a commercial building in our Worli project, which will be close to 1 million square feet.
Okay.
And in addition to that, we are also having plans of getting started with a commercial mixed-use development in Dadar, which is part of the Island City Center, which will have elements of commercial, entertainment, F&B and retail, primarily to cater to that mixed-use development platform that we are actually talking about.
Will you look to...
The whole idea is about live, work and play.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's a great idea, sir, and we get your concept that you're trying to put forth. But is there a possibility that you look to sell any of these assets outright, or you'll be interested in developing it yourselves?
Well, I think we have developed a very strong development platform over the last 4 years, and we have the wherewithal to go about making that development work, and in terms of realizing it in the clearly defined time frame. So we do see ourselves as a serious player in the real estate space. And considering that we have been destined with prime pieces of land with huge amount of FSI, it's just a question of polishing that diamond, as I would put it, to make it derive the maximum value.
Right.
And that's what we are doing right now as a team.
Hopefully, you know, the street does find that diamond, and that diamond turns out to be a real diamond as against perhaps
hopefully
an
it's
American
glittering
diamond.
by the next
glittering. So let's wish you good luck on that one. We'll keep an eye, but just watch out for Dish TV. Actually, what happened was the stock was higher in today's trading session. There was some bit of short covering. The results were muted, but then from there, the stock is down about 21% from the highs of the day, currently sitting with a cut of about 8%. Any bit of an uptick on these stocks sold into vehemently. What we do is take a short break, come back, and we get chatting with Century Plyboards, the stock on our radar on the back of their third quarter numbers.